you're wondering how we ended up in Bethlehem this morning. You know, I'm a little surprised myself. Because Bethlehem, as you know, in this manger scene, I'll bet the farm is not historically accurate. I'm willing to bet that the shepherd did not pull out his iPhone and recorded it. CNN did not send a reporter. And I'll bet in all of Bethlehem there's not one yellow legal pad and a number 2 pencil. Therefore, we are imagining that this is the scene that happened at the birth of Jesus. And we're kind of guessing at this because the truth be told, the actual written birth of Jesus wasn't even recorded until 40 to 70 years after his birth. So all the eyewitnesses were probably long gone. So why are we here celebrating? Because there's another reason Unity might not want to celebrate today. Because we don't actually believe in original sin. We believe in original blessing. We believe we came from love. And therefore we don't have anything to be saved from. So why would Unity be in Bethlehem today? I'm so glad you asked. Because we're here to celebrate. We're here to celebrate something powerful and something wonderful. Now remember, we're not worried about historical purity. And we're going to let the hellfire and brimstone people worry about the sin and salvation part. But that doesn't mean that we are not celebrating this scene and this event. So where do we start? Where do we begin? Let's begin with the star. Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, says it this way. The star is that symbol. Now remember, Unity understands things metaphysically, that which is above physical. And we understand that everything is symbolic. So the star, according to Charles Fillmore, our founder, the star represents that first yearning, that first quickening of spirit that you received. Did you feel it as a child? Did you feel it sitting one day as an adult, something that you knew there was something more in your life? That hunger, even before you knew, even before you understood anything about wisdom, even before you knew about your own divinity, that hunger, that pull. The star represents that for us, that longing, that hunger. And when the star comes and sits over the town of Bethlehem, Charles Fillmore says that Bethlehem is in the country of Judea, and Bethlehem in Judea means that the star has come to a place of spiritual recognition. That hunger comes to the place of spiritual recognition. And now, sitting here underneath the star, I love what Charles Fillmore says about this. The wise men come bearing gifts. We understand symbolically that they came from the east. And the east means from within. The wisdom of our life comes from within. And here's the part I wish somebody had told me as a child. At the birth, at our birth, all the wisdom, all the good thoughts, all the good deeds that we have ever accumulated over all of our lifetimes are brought to our birth as well. So the gifts come as they did to Jesus. Every good thought, every good deed, every good action that you've ever performed comes to you as your spiritual inheritance when you were born. Is that not exciting and fascinating? The Buddhists say it this way, that we try to earn merit, we try to get merit for this lifetime and the life beyond, because at our birth, just like at the birth of Jesus, every thought, every smile, every laugh, Avery, comes and joins us at our birth from our wisdom from within. We have a spiritual inheritance at our birth. There is no loss of economy in the spirit. I love the fact that my smile today can show up in a lifetime to come. Yeah. And this is all happening. This all takes place here in the physical plane. This all takes place right here on earth. This all takes place in our human, natural consciousness. Because when we're born into the physical plane, we are born with 5 senses. And if we just use just those 5 senses, and if we decide that's all that we are, if we're only like the animals, then all we will ever do is eat and sleep and breathe and eliminate. Yeah. But when we know that we are more than these physical bodies, when we know that we are more than human, when we are willing to understand that we are just not our animal natures, that we are guided by a yearning, by a quickening, and that we have come with spiritual gifts at our birth, and when we're willing to say, I am more than just this body, then we have opened ourselves to the divine. We've opened ourselves to the messengers of God. The angels come. Now, Fillmore tells us that angels do not necessarily have to be winged, haloed people. And we're so glad for that, aren't we? Because we can get the divine information. We can get divine messages in every way. You know how you do it. I get mine in the shower a lot. Do you? Yeah. A page that you read in a book. A glitter of sunlight through a cloud. You know, the smell of a new rose, smile on someone's face. There's that place of divine inspiration. There's that quickening of spirit. When the angels, when divinity comes and gives us inspiration, gives us this wisdom. But how do we receive that? How do we get that information? How does it become alive and real and quickened into our lives? Fillmore talks about the shepherds. And what were the shepherds doing on the night of Jesus' birth? They were watching. They were out in the darkness with their sheep and their sty, sleeping, and in the silence. They were in that pure, quiet, meditative space. They were in that place where a divine moment can come into. They're in that space when we sit in our silence, when we sit in that state of openness. The Buddhists talk about it as being in the beginner's mind. When we open to being in a beginner's mind, you can't tell somebody who already knows something anything. You can't get inspiration if you already have the answers. So the divine messages from on high can come to the beginner's mind, to the state of consciousness where we are open and we are ready to receive. So here we are in Bethlehem. Here we are ready to celebrate. We're celebrating the fact that there is this energy and this pull, and there is this incredible impulse to know who we are, to understand our own divinity. We've got our gifts at birth. We understand that we're more than just our physical bodies. We're open to inspiration. We're sitting in this meditative and quiet, open space. And can't you feel it? Can't you feel it now? Something's about to happen. Something's about to come forth. Something is about to break out. At this moment, Charles Fillmore gives us a piece of inspiration I wish I had known about 30 years ago. Because just before the moment that we're ready to birth this new creation, our intellect, our wisdom, our understanding can kick in. You know the story when Joseph heard that Mary was with child. He said, "It's not mine." Excuse me, it's not mine. Have you ever gotten right to the place where you're ready to create something? When you've got right to the place where something powerful and magical is going to happen. It might be a new relationship. It might be a job. It might be an opportunity. All of a sudden, you're ready for life to spring out, and your intellect jumps in and says, "Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. I didn't sign on for this. What's people going to say? What will people think? I'll be laughed at. I will be ridiculed." And my all-time favorite is, "And what's this going to cost me?" Yeah. Have you ever been here? Have you been at the moment where you're ready to explode in presence and power and bring forth something beautiful and magnificent, and you get in your head and you're ready to stop it? But Joseph is wisdom and understanding. And our own wisdom and understanding is also open to divine messages from on high. And when we allow ourselves to move from our head into our heart, magic can happen. If we stay only in our own wisdom, this whole creation story would not happen. Fillmore says it this way: before wisdom has joined with love, everything can be halted. Before wisdom joins with love. I wish I had known 30 years ago that when I hit a doubt, when I was ready to burst out and create something new, Jim, when I was ready to bring forth something powerful, I'd get in my head and I would think I would be spiritually inadequate. I would condemn myself. Am I the only one here? No. And what Charles Fillmore is telling us, this is a part of the process. It's a part of the process. You feel the doubt, you understand the concern, and you go from your head into your heart, and you do it anyway. You do it anyway. But know it can come, and you'll be ready for it. Because when wisdom gives way to love, when wisdom gives way to love, love then is our soul. Love is that powerful, pure energy. Love is that place. Love is that place where I love what love does. You know what this says with Mary, that Mary's soul did magnify the Lord. Mary's soul magnified the Lord. When our soul, and we know in unity that soul means our own Christ consciousness. When love magnifies our own Christ consciousness, we sit in anticipation. We sit expecting. We sit believing and knowing and declaring and affirming that only good can come to us. When we magnify our Christ consciousness within, we are sitting and saying, I am here for all the blessings in the world. Abraham Hicks would say, go on a rampage. Go on a rampage and magnify the Christ within you. Expect, affirm, and believe that everything you want is coming to you and for you. You magnify the Lord. And I love this part, that love takes all this into your heart, into its heart, and it ponders it. Don't you love the word ponder? Don't you just, doesn't ponder just get you? If we sit around and ponder, we ponder and magnify our own Christ consciousness. We expect all of the good of the world to come to us. Oh my gosh, what an immaculate concept. What an immaculate concept. Because when we understand that everything comes into this world for us, that good is ours, the angels understood that the Holy Spirit overshadowed love. And when the Holy Spirit overshadows love, when the Holy Spirit overshadows love, the love and the light and the joy that was in the Christ child is now within us. Why are we in Bethlehem celebrating today? Why? It seems like a simple story, but its message is much, much deeper. And as Linda comes to lead us into our meditation, we're here to celebrate because we are receiving direction. We are receiving inspiration from the star that guides us to a place of spiritual recognition. We're celebrating in Bethlehem today. We're celebrating because we understand that the gifts that were given Jesus at his birth are the gifts given us at our birth. We're celebrating in Bethlehem today because we understand that we are more than these physical bodies. We are more than just what we can think and feel. Because if we just stay in what we think and feel, we'll only think our own thoughts. And how horrible would that be? We are here celebrating because we know that divine inspiration can come to us. We know that we can sit in the beginner's mind in that state of love. We know that wisdom and understanding can take us to our heart. We're celebrating because love can create the Christ consciousness within us that was in Jesus. Is this worth celebrating?
Yes.
Is this an immaculate concept?
Yes, it is.
Is this an immaculate concept?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Choir, will you lead us in prayer?